everyone and welcome back to another DLC. My name is Joey Fitz and today we are diving into the world of Who Trained the Hero? A Spin of Fate. It's a new roguelike that mixes traditional role-playing mechanics with slot machine style gameplay. It's a unique concept that tries to merge strategy with luck, an idea that stands out in a very crowded genre. I spent a decent amount of time with this one, testing its systems, exploring its runs, and trying to figure out how deep the game mechanics actually go. There's a fair amount to unpack here, the good, the bad, and the confusing. But before we do, I would like to thank our friends over at Game.Press and the developers Game Studio Inc. and Kadokawa for the free review copy. We very much appreciate the opportunity to do this. So the central idea of Who Trained the Hero? Spin of Fate is that you don't just fight enemies or build decks. You build reels. Instead of cards, you customize and collect icons that spin and determine your actions, attacks, defenses, buffs, or training events. You also partner with allies, level up stats, and work your way through a series of randomized runs that promise a blend of strategy and chance. That sounds really clever, right? A system that rewards planning but still keeps you on your toes? Well, I went into it hoping to find something innovative, something that takes randomness and makes it part of the fun. Unfortunately, what I found felt like a great idea buried under some particularly frustrating design choices. To start positively, I'll say this. Visually, it's clean. The art direction is colourful, the real animations are smooth, and the overall presentation is really solid. The soundtrack fits the mood and the interface, at least at first glance, seems very intuitive. The concept of turning a slot machine into a roguelike mechanic is very ambitious. It's an unusual twist that could have opened the door to something genuinely fresh and fun. There are moments, especially early on, when that novelty does feel really exciting. But unfortunately, that excitement doesn't last. We've got to talk about where things fall apart. Because as much as I really wanted to enjoy this game, it continually got in its own way. At its core, the game leans so heavily on luck that your choices often feel meaningless. You could spend several runs fine-tuning your reel setup, optimizing what should be a really powerful combination, and then lose everything to a bad spin. The randomness overshadows skill to the point where success feels more like gambling than strategy. It's not that all randomness is bad, roguelikes thrive on unpredictability, but this game gives you almost no tools to mitigate it. A single unfortunate roll can derail an entire run, and there's very little agency to recover from that. I realise this is a slot machine game, but with roguelikes you've got to have some onus on being able to complete the run, not leaving it down to luck. Secondly, the pacing feels really inconsistent throughout. Early runs crawl, with long stretches of uneventful spins and minimal payoff, and then out of nowhere, difficulty spikes can hit a wall. Shops and resources aren't that much help either. Your item prices often don't match their impact, and you're frequently stuck with options that either feel pointless or unaffordable. There's no real way to refresh or re-roll shop inventories, and you're at the mercy of another layer of luck. The result of this is a progression curve that often feels less like a smooth climb and more like an erratic heartbeat. Slow, then chaotic, and then slow and flat again. The third thing I want to point out is that the ally system feels really interesting at first. You can team up with a number of different companions, train with them, and supposedly build relationships that benefit you over time. In practice though, it's a little bit clumsy. Allies pick their own training fields randomly, making it nearly impossible to build a consistent strategy. Instead of fostering strategy, it creates another unpredictable variable that works against the player. What could have been a system for meaningful bonding or team building ends up feeling more like chaos layered on top of more chaos. But one of the most frustrating aspects of Who Trained the Hero? Spin of Fate is how poorly it explains itself. Card and reel effects are often vague or misleading. It's not always clear why certain bonuses trigger. The math behind probabilities is hidden, leaving you guessing instead of strategizing. When things go wrong, the game rarely communicates why, and you're left feeling confused rather than challenged, which really breaks the feedback loop that makes roguelikes addictive in the first place. During your first few runs, the randomness will feel novel. It's new, it's chaotic, and that unpredictability can be really fun. But after a very short amount of time, it starts to feel hollow. You realise that systems don't evolve meaningfully. The core loop, spin, wait, hope, spin, wait, hope, spin, wait, hope, just doesn't offer enough variation to reward mastery. Instead of feeling like each run tells a new story, it feels like each run repeats the same mistakes that are totally out of your control. The replay value drops massively when this novelty wears off. So, Who Trained the Hero is one of those games where I feel like the pitch is probably better than the product. It has a lot of style, it has lots of ambition, and it has moments that sometimes work. But those moments are buried under too much randomness, unbalanced pacing, and systems that fight the player instead of empowering them. I respect what it tried to do. I was very excited when I saw the advert for the game. I thought you might have another Balatro on your hands here, and you know how much we love Balatro. But the experience ends up feeling much more frustrating than fun, and is more exhausting than exciting. If you're someone who really likes unpredictable chaos and doesn't mind not being in control, you might find some enjoyability here. But for players looking for depth, strategy, and fairness, this one's really hard to recommend. It's a good idea, poorly executed. Anyway, thank you for coming with me on today's DLC. Once again, thanks over to our friends at Game.Press for a free copy of the game. Check us out on X and Discord, where we talk about all of our episodes with a lovely community. And I'll see you next time. I've been Joe Fitz. Thanks for stopping by.